So I've been celibate the past couple of years, and I have otherwise been in partnership my entire life. Uh, I had never been on a date in my life, kind of a thing, just organic, like serial monogamy kind of a thing. And I really wanted to, coming out of my last relationship, I really wanted to believe that I need and I'm entitled to need a man in my life by my side to feel at ease. I would spend, I share custody with, my daughter's dad. And so we do like a week on, week off. And so, there would be weeks in these past couple of years where I would literally be like alone in my house with my cats and chickens. And I would be gaslighting myself to say that that fundamentally felt okay, you know. And I don't believe that my system is meant to feel okay alone as a woman. I don't know that in human history, women have spent the kind of time alone that we often do these days. And meaning like absent other human bodies. Okay, so obviously I have my daughters around and friends around and all the things. But I really wanted to make and I've worked with an erotic coach, Whitney, for several years. And at the time I would get all triggered when she would suggest that I had this responsibility to myself to learn self-containment. And I really wanted to insist that, no, that's not true. Biologically, I am meant to have a man by my body, like me, Kelly, like I'm not speaking for all women, but so that I can feel, safe and regulated. And I think that was like a petulant protest, like I think I just like didn't really want to do the work into it felt like letting go, right, of something that I have a deep heart yearning for. And of course, like resolving attachment is never really letting it go. Like it's just orienting your attention elsewhere. So once I decided to begin to learn what this whole self-safety thing is, what self-containment is, slowly, I began to feel like this vigilance, this urgency, these, subtle layers of doingness, start to ease and melt. And I started to have more like actual play in my life. And I started to create in totally different ways. And I started to prioritize different relational experiences. And my mothering, just completely went through a total transmutation that I didn't even think was necessary. Like I had thought like, oh, I'm doing a great job. And maybe I was on some level, and there was a lot for me to look at. And so all of these things began to shift organically. And I have come to understand that, yes, there are many ways that I can confer safety to my system. And I actually now believe that's the big plot twist for women is that, perhaps if you're like me anyway, learning how to be more feminine and learning how to, embrace that dimension of your womanness isn't the first agenda item. That the first agenda item is to learn to confer safety to your system. And I'm thinking of a mentor, a friend of mine, Omer Pani, who's not going to like what I'm about to say, but a sweet debate about this. But I call it like, because I learned from my coach, Winnie, self-husbanding. So I like to think of inner polarities. He says that's like a major distraction and, it's problematic at the stage that we're at to confuse the conversation and the psychology to even talk about inner masculine when I'm a woman and vice versa. I could see his perspective for sure. And for me to imagine, that I can treat myself the way my husband would, or, you could say the divine father, whatever, whatever works for you. For me, that term works, has made it so that when I make plans, when I have conversations, when I put my body in situations like this one right here, I have an energetic signature that is looking out for me, that's got me, that's assessing, will my needs be met? Does this work for me really? And actually giving a shit about how I feel and how my body is, experiencing reality. And if I had a different order of operations where I just declared myself some sort of divine feminine queen or something, out the gate, I think it would have been real messy. And I think that underlying fear I referenced earlier that I have become aware of, driving so much of my personality, so much of my activism, this fear of men, I think would have still been hiding in there. And I probably would have remained a feminist in the classical description of liberal feminism. And I would have been putting lipstick on a pig, like I would have otherwise been insisting on my righteous feminization rather than experiencing what has been a very different unfoldment of my reclamation process as a woman that I think has only been possible because I focused on my self-husbanding first, And I do believe that we offer containment to each other as women. And we have that impulse, right? You see now men are gathering, but we've been doing this forever. We never stopped doing this, right? Women gather. We put our bodies in the same place. If you're up in the club and you're going to the bathroom, you get your bitches to go with you. Like that's how we roll. And we always have had a sense, I think, that our systems confer containment to each other, that we can derive safety from, co-location of our bodies. And so I've known that. So I somehow knew it wasn't just a man who could give this to me. Right. It was more nuanced than that. But the experience of offering this to myself has been, I don't know, so different than I thought it might be. Meaning, like, what is the practice of offering this to myself? You might ask. I would say, like, it's actually literally just giving a shit about how I feel. It's so basic. So when I get a little no or I get a little yes, I attune to that. I pay attention to that, right? And I create the conditions for that to be honored. And I don't know. I think clearing the slate to even feel that, I have all sorts of biases about like what's required on a lifestyle level, on a physiologic level, like I have the health reclamation program, all the things. Like, so I've really looked at this order of operations that has been like this masculine initiation of competence and commitment, follow through, integrity of word, this kind of self-guardianship and custodial energy for then whatever emerges. Like, I'm not sure women, maybe men either, need help feeling, right? Like playing, expressing, creating. Like, I don't know that we need to go to workshops and retreats to learn how to do that. It's an emergent phenomena. What I do think we need help with is self-containment and this kind of self-orientation that you could describe as masculine.